Okay, I'm inside of a cave. Very tricky cave to get into. So anyway, I'm leaving my most of my spare batteries, backpack, or what's it called? Spare flashlights over here on the rock pile. So look at this over here. Ooh, interesting, huh? Alright. So even on the ceiling, look at all the stuff hanging on the ceiling there. Ooh, so in case you're wondering, I'm shooting f over 5.0. My light's at 22%. I was aiming for 20. I missed. But anyway, oops. Let me get up here without tripping. I'm not wearing my backpack. Make sure I don't accidentally lose my, bearing, balance. Wow. So I have to be careful on this cave. Very tricky cave. I don't want to actually damage any formations. So anyway, I'm going to do the right side here. Then come back, do the left side there. Let's see here. Notice the cool shape of the floor. It's made of ripples of lava. Interesting. Nice big crack here too. A few feet down, only a few inches across. Notice there are a few formations on the ground already. I don't know if it's from people knocking them over or if it really did form like that halfway naturally. Anyway, what's weird, notice how glossy the wall is here, and then it's rougher up there. But that's because it broke off. So it's only like the outer layer. Well, I mean inside layer. The one closest to me. That's mostly. Hold on, I want to show you very carefully. Look at this. See how there's a hole in the floor. So a lot of these formations, they're hollow. So I should be careful and gentle about where I walk. Try to not step on any of these hollow formations. So I'm trying to see if I can go next to them without hitting anything. You see there's some over there that are broken on top. Again, I couldn't tell you if people did that or if it really formed like that. I mean, it should be obvious that some of the cave, it broke off when it formed. So it seems reason that some of the formations did that too. Okay. So notice even up here in the middle, there's formations hanging on the ceiling. So if you manage to find a cave like this, definitely watch your head. Wearing a helmet will protect your head, but it won't protect the formations. So just because you're wearing a helmet doesn't mean you should bang your head into the ceiling. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of formations over there, but I'm going to stick to the right here. Notice even right here in the middle, there's some formations coming up. So I need to be super careful about where I put my feet, which is why I'm not wearing my backpack. I left my backpack over the edge. Wow, look at this though. There's a crack in the floor. It's only like an inch wide. It goes down at least 10 feet though. Needless to say, I got my car keys over there in my backpack. All right, here we go. So, see, I got my flashlight and my camera are about 6 inches apart. So I've tried to minimize shadows, but I mean, realistically, any distance between the camera and the light is going to cause shadows. But again, watching the ceiling here, even little tiny formations are really cool looking. See if I can hold still long enough for them to look cool. My camera, it's got autofocus. The autofocus usually behaves pretty well. So here's a whole bunch of formations coming up on the floor. And then even right next to me, all over the floor. So I have to be super careful about where I walk. But I do want to go over to this wall here. Step over that crack. Yeah. I think this is the only cave I'm going to do today. My back's a little sore getting into this cave. This cave is a bit rough. I got like 10 flashlight batteries with me. I'm not gluttonous. I'm safe. Anyway, let me sit down. Even right where I am, look at this. There's a lot of small broken formations. Notice they're cleaved at the top pretty flat. Some of them are tipped over. They're just left on the floor. So be extremely careful not to touch these if you find a cave like this. There aren't a lot of caves like this though. Having formations in a lava tube like this, it's not really very common. Oops, I think I stepped on the rock. Sometimes that noise, I'm not breaking formations. There's loose rocks on the floor too. I'm trying not to step on, but they're everywhere. If I own this cave, gave tours for profit, what I'd probably do is put a catwalk in here so people could stay on the catwalk, metal walkway. Then we could have handrails and everything. Even have little spots to put your tripods or whatever. Then over here, look at this. The floor is awesome, but also look at the ceiling. Look at all that stuff hanging from the ceiling. Even right here, look at this. See if I can get into focus. There. Oops. My gimbal's malfunctioning. I have to be careful with it. It's being picky. So yeah, look at all that stuff hanging down there, then hanging over there. I'm gonna get a little closer, very carefully. But before I do, I want to show you this over here. It's another view. That's my light over there, by the way. I left it over there just so I could, if this light fails, I still got 2 backup lights with me. But anyway, long story short, got a little redundancy going here, just in case, since I'm by myself. There's no way I'm finding my way out of this cave without a light. So I have like 3 main lights and 2 backup lights. Anyway, should be enough to last a few minutes. All right, so let me get down here on the floor. I got really good knee pads. I just bought new knee pads yesterday. But anyway. Wow. Look how complicated that shape is. Isn't that neat? I don't know if I want to get closer, but I don't know if my camera will focus. Okay, well, see if I can hold still. I'm holding it by hand, you know, so obviously there's a little bit of drift when I even try to hold still. So let me turn around and look at the floor here, just so you can see how a lot of it's kind of flat but rippled, and it's got a lot of breakdown rock. By the way, the light I'm using here is 22%. That one over there is at 1%. That's why this one's brighter. And then I've got a few formations here. So definitely watch your step. There's even more on the other side. But before I do the other side, let me go up here on this rock pile. Man, look at the color here. Wow. And what's funny is how smooth the ceiling is. But that's because this is breakdown. Well, I mean, this isn't breakdown. The ceiling broke down. I'm standing on the breakdown. See all these flat rocks? These came from the ceiling. But look at this ahead here. I don't know if you can see it in the video yet. But you're glad I didn't give up already, huh? See if I can very, very, very carefully look around here. Wow. Oops. I'm going to actually sit down on the floor here. Wow. So look how some are kind of a cylindrical shape, you know? Some are more pyramid shaped. Just the luck of the draw about how, you know. Oh, I just thought of something. I got my extra batteries from my camera over in those backpacks. So anyway, well, I'll worry about that later. All right, let me sit down here very carefully. Because look at this, even right next to me, there's small formations all over the floor. There's also big formations all over the floor. Wow. Very pretty little cave. It's a very difficult cave to get into. If you're a beginning caver, you could seriously get lost trying to find your way into this cave. But anyway, don't come looking for this cave. Seriously. Just your luck, you'll find it. All right, so That light over there, that's how far I've come so far. It's at 1%. Anyway. It's a nice big dripstone formation there. A few others over here. Oops. Oh, dang it. I sat in some water. Hopefully it's water. Just kidding. There's nothing else in here. We're way too far in the cave. There's no wildlife coming here. I haven't seen a bat in this cave, which is funny. Somebody said there are bats in here. I haven't seen nothing. Anyway, I know. Double negative. I have seen nothing. Nothing. All right. So let me, whoops, darn it, almost tripped. So I gotta be super careful because some of these small formations, I could probably break it if I touch them. So I need to be super careful. Okay. And then the wall here, man, look at the weird colors on the ceiling as opposed to the wall. All right. So anyway, let's go do some sightseeing, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna go up to this rock pile, see if there's anything up here. Oops, if I can find my way up here. Yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Look at this. So this is a lava tube, right? Most of the bare rock is actually gray, right? But anyway, we have a lot of red colored minerals like iron. But look at this. This white stuff is mineral deposit. Like, what's it called? Calcium or whatever. But look at this down here. I gotta admit, I'm tempted to touch it, but I don't want to touch it because I'd hate to damage it. But anyway, but look at this here. There's a little spike, an actual stalactite. Little tiny one, like an inch long. But I'm gonna get over here closer, underneath, very carefully. Oh, that's funny. Wait, before I do that, let me show you something. Remember I said there's no wildlife? Look at this. See those black things? That's rat droppings. So at least the rats are coming in this far. Nobody else. Oops, darn it. I just knocked a rock loose. Okay, anyway. So look at this here. See if I can get a good focus. I don't know if my gimbal's going to behave. Yeah, I think that's a little too close. All right, let me see if I can focus a little farther away. All right, I'm going to go under this. Oh, I can't go much farther. I have nowhere to go. All right. Let me go back here. Look at this. Wow. Go over here. Look at that. Okay, let me go up here. Look at that. Cool. Interesting. Okay, well, found one little white formation and a crowd of gray formations. One of these is different from the others. All right. So let's see if I can go up this rock pile here. Oops, my gimbal's being stupid, but I can't do anything about that. All right, anyway. Try to keep my gimbal level. Hopefully it'll behave. Okay, but as you can see, there's a pile of rock here. Looks like the cave's blocked, so I can't go any farther. So let me go over here. Oops. Hold on a second. The rocks are a little bit slippery, so I have to be careful. Wow, look at this wall. See, there's little tiny formations hanging from the wall here. Just small ones. Let's see if I get closer. What's weird is most of the regular rock is brown, and then the formations are gray. So I'm guessing the gray has got a lower melting point. So it's more, when it formed, it was liquid longer. That's how it formed. Okay, that amber light over there, that's mine. I left a spare light over there just in case anything was wrong. Find my way back to my backpacks. All right, I'm gonna go around the long way here. Don't want to get myself lost. Oops. The good news is there's not many formations on the floor where I am. I'm just walking on a breakdown pile. So I could put my feet wherever it's convenient. Still want to be careful because I'm getting down to where there are more formations. So like, look at this out here. Look at that shape. Wow. Even a limestone cave, you don't really see shapes like that very much. But yeah, let me go over here. This is where I just was. This is where I wanted to climb down, but I chickened out, went the long way. Up there is where I was. But I could see the gray formations over here. All the dripstone along the wall. A lot of small dripstones along the wall here. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, what the heck. Sometimes my gimbal behaves and sometimes it doesn't. These are the ones I already looked at from a different angle. Okay, here's the funny part. So look here how most of the wall is really smooth, but where it's not smooth, some pretty nice sized formations. Same thing over here, whoops, next to me. So most of the floor is breakdown rock. Oops, hang on. I want to make sure I look at every formation while I'm here. Might not be able to come back here for a couple of minutes. I got both my camera rigs. I'm going to shoot a horizontal video and yeah, but look at this. In between all the breakdown rock, there's a good sized formation, like a foot tall or more. Notice it's got some of the brown rock on it. It's not all gray. Interesting. See if I can go around it without getting too close. Risk of damaging it. Nice. Notice there are a few smaller formations next to it, but after seeing that big one, it's kind of hard to get excited by the small ones. Anyway. Oops. That was just a flat rock. A lot of these breakdown rocks are really flat, so they can teeter-totter pretty well. All right. How's that nursery rhyme go? Teeter-totter up and down, something like that. When I was a kid, like every playground had a seesaw or a teeter-totter or something. Those are the good old days. These days, playgrounds don't have nothing. There's just a big lawn, maybe a tree. There's a park. All right. So there's that breakdown pile. The end. All right. There's a pile of formations I already looked at. All along that wall, I already saw those. Let's go back this way now. Notice I'm mostly walking on breakdown rock, so it's pretty easy. But look at this. Got some really nice straight lava stalactites, dripstone stalactites up here. Notice it's the same place where it looks like the wall almost peeled away, but it didn't quite. So please don't touch that or the whole thing will come down. Seriously, it could. Same thing here. There's a few formations, a couple inches long, 3 or 4 inches long. But look how the whole ceiling looks like it's about ready to peel away. That's how breakdown rock happens. So please don't touch it, because once it falls down, it's probably just going to shatter anyway. Here's a whole cluster. Shorter ones, but lots of them. Quantity versus quality. But don't just look at the formations. Look at the shape of the ridge shape, where it looks like some of the gray rock peeled away. And you notice the formations are all where the rock is gray, not where it's brown. This is cool. It's multiple layers, like a big fish gill or something. Suspicious. So over here, the ceiling is smooth, but look at the floor. We got some good stuff. There's one right here. I'll need to be careful not to trip over. But there's one over here that's even farther, bigger, better. But over here, all over the floor, and then the ceiling. It's mostly smooth, but just the occasional formation. Just enough to convince you, yes, you should pay attention. That's funny. I thought I heard some noise. It'd be funny if other people were coming through. Seriously, it does sound like there are other people coming through. These caves always echo weird. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to be careful. Look at the ceiling here. Hopefully not bump it with my helmet or anything. I'm going to walk in between these formations very carefully. I want to show you all these other ones here. Look up at the ceiling just a second. Weird. I wonder how much it echoes through here, because I swear it sounds like there's a vehicle driving outside, but I'm pretty far in the cave. I really don't think I'd be able to hear a vehicle that's outside. That'd be like, good luck. So the ceiling is pretty low on the right, so I'm not going to be able to really go over to the right. Look at all these formations. I'd risk hitting the ceiling or something, tripping. So I'm going to go back out over here to the left, the way I came. Look at all these cool little formations on the ceiling, or floor. See, even right here where I came in, I have to step over these very carefully. But you notice here's a cool side-by-side comparison, how one is narrow at the bottom, like it's cylindrical shape. One is narrow on the left, it's more pyramid shape. They formed a few inches from each other, yet they look quite a bit different. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to very carefully go over here. Oh yeah, those are the same two formations I just looked at here. Slightly different angle. Alright, good to know. Okay, I'm going to go around all these formations on the ceiling. Go around here to the left. So I don't accidentally bump them. I'm trying to climb under them. Alright, I'm going to sit on a little rock here so I can look up the ceiling without losing my balance. I can walk all day, no problem. I can even stand on my foot, 1 foot. But yeah, if I'm not careful, if I'm looking up too much, especially with my eyes closed, it's harder to maintain my balance doing that. So if I'm looking up the ceiling, it could be a little bit tricky. Notice you could probably climb back over there, but yeah, that's not the way I came in. I came back in behind me, so that way I don't have to climb over these formations. Without missing out entirely, I wanted to try to keep my distance from the formations, especially the ceiling ones, because they're the skinnier ones that are more fragile. All right, well, this concludes my tour of this cool little room in a cave.